Daily Workout. It's book week. We get authors on to talk about their books. And I'm really pleased to say we've got the wonderful Jane Barrett this morning. Good morning, Jane. How are you?
Good morning. Hi, I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. And you have just shared with me in the green room that you've already had a success this morning. What did you do?
Well, I went to a strength training class, but I can't. Hi, Vanessa. I can't take that much credit for it because if I get into trouble if I don't go because I have to book it in. Otherwise, I just won't go. Going to the gym is just
Well,
not
that's a
something I
win.
enjoy doing. So I have to book into a class.
Definitely. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Accountability when someone else is
Mm,
there. And that's what we find a lot with people that run their own businesses. It's like, okay, who am I accountable to?
mm, mm.
And if someone was checking my work, then therefore maybe a bit more things would get on. And it sort of links to your book. Let me just share the screen because our first question is, why did you write the book in the first place? So this
Mm.
is the taking charge of your career, the essential guide to finding the job that's right for you. So why was it that you wrote it?
I wrote it because I have struggled in my past to try and find my direction. I think it isn't something that you're necessarily taught at school, how to actually think about your career. At school, you're often focused on the things you're not very good at and making yourself better at those. So often career advice at schools isn't thinking about what are your strengths, what's important to you, what are you interested in. We're just on a kind of treadmill of, do, do your subjects, focus on the ones you're not very good at, maybe do something that might lead to a good career, whatever that means, you know. Um, so I'd struggled to find my own direction and I'd kind of started off in surveying, so property, commercial property, and I didn't really feel like I was using my strength. I wasn't particularly happy in it, and I didn't feel it didn't give me any satisfaction in terms of helping people, and that's what is a really important value to me, as it turns out. And actually, when you look back at my childhood, I always really loved nature, and I liked helping people. Then, I was quite a kind, sensitive child, and so I've struggled in my own direction. I went into recruitment, and then I found a lot of the people I was interviewing when I worked for PwC, they didn't really know their career direction. They didn't really know why they were applying to consulting.
No.
And they didn't really know much about themselves in terms of what are their strengths, what were their values. And I kind of pieced it together myself. And I obviously did some training as a career coach. And I found that there wasn't a book that incorporated case studies and also exercises as well. So Camilla and I, the late Camilla Arnold, we met through work. We both trained as coaches at the same time. And we decided that it was time to write a book because there wasn't the book that we wanted and we wanted to use with our clients on the market.
That's fantastic. And that's a lot of the answers that we get from people saying, I couldn't find a book. We had it yesterday with Cassia, on Tuesday with Thea Smith at Neurodiversity in Work. There wasn't, when I went to try and find it, I couldn't find it. So have ended up writing it. I have two things here. One, quickly, I need to ask, why the doll?
Yeah. Actually, I did a fundraiser on International Women's Day years ago, and my friend's daughter bought me that. So I don't think that is the official picture of the book, but
No.
it's it just happened to be on my desk.
No, I saw it and I really liked it. So no, the official picture.
I like it. It's still here. I still got it on my desk.
Fantastic. Fantastic. The other thing you just mentioned there, that you loved helping people and supporting people. And actually, if I just zoom up a little bit here, we've got that, you're donating the commission from the book that you wrote with Camilla to the Food and Waste CIC, to Resurrection Bites. So if you could tell us a little bit about that would be really interesting as well, please.
Yeah, they're a really interesting organisation run by this wonderful lady called Michelle Hayes, and she set it up to basically take food waste from supermarkets and cafes in the Harrogate area to then repurpose that into cafes, pay-as-you-can cafes for people who are on low incomes. She also runs like a community grocery store where people on lower incomes pay a certain amount a month. I think it's a month, and they get access to discounted food. So a lot of this is food that's near its sell-by date that supermarkets donate, or overruns on, when manufacturers do overruns, that type of thing. So that it's an amazing organisation because it kind of ticks two boxes, really, helping people who really need it, and also reducing food waste from an environmental point of view. So I've done various food fundraisers for them. I've had a wine and cheese evening, and I wanted to just, moving forward, donate any commission from the book, commission from the book to this organisation, because I think it's doing great work, and it's under a lot of pressure at the moment. There's a lot of demand at the moment because of the cost of living crisis.
Yeah, I bet it is. I've just put the link in there in here, Charlotte.
Oh, brilliant.
That into LinkedIn as well. Anyone over on LinkedIn, if you want to come and join us on Crowdcast. But what a great charity, and something that's needed everywhere. I would hope that it's not needed because of people on low income struggling, but just that regeneration of food that's going to go out. I'm that person that uses everything in the fridge. I never over order. I don't get the next shopping until I've eaten everything and it's all been used up, and whatever it is. Made my first flan last week because I didn't realise you just
brilliant.
But it was like, brilliant, that's a great way of finishing the week with all the bits that are left. So I had a salmon and broccoli flan. Fantastic.
That's great.
But something close to my heart as well. Food wastage really gets me, so I love that. So please do. The link to the book is in the chat as well. So if you are interested, please click on that. We'll hear a little bit more about it in a moment. But my next question is, what was the most difficult thing to get it over the line, to actually get it published?
I think finding a publisher, and it was just networking. So it was a friend of my husband's who worked for Bloomsbury, but in a different department, and she got it in front of the commissioning editor in the kind of business section. So that was the hardest thing, to actually find someone to actually publish it. Actually, writing it wasn't that hard. It was a pleasure. Camilla and I did quite a lot of work together, and on business trips we'd stay a couple of days at the end. My son was very young, so my husband was very suspicious with us, kind of staying in the hotel and having a nice time writing the book in Barcelona and Milan and various places we were working in. But it was a pleasure to write it with Camilla. We saw things in very much the same way, and a lot of the book is a lot of around what I had been teaching at the business schools that we work with. So I still do workshops on how to take charge of your career, and so a lot of the content from that went into the book, and I had a workbook that morphed into the book as well. So a lot of it was kind of written, and we had case studies of people we'd worked with, and so it kind of came together very, very well. I did have to get up. I do remember getting up quite early in the morning, like 5 o'clock, just to get some writing done, because work was so busy that I just had to get up early and actually get in a couple of hours. And some days were better than others. Sometimes I'd write, just one sentence, and the next it would flow out of me. So, yeah.
I must admit, the thought of trying to get my brain going at 5 a.m.
I was much younger then.
But James Kingston was that on Monday as well. He said every Wednesday, 6 till 8 in the morning, before everyone else got up and was running around, that was his time. And so he always had those 2 hours, and therefore all the thoughts and everything were bubbling at that point. So I think that does work for authors, giving yourself a set time to work on those. Okay, so we got the publisher. My mum always said it's not what you know, it's who you know, and it does help. So you need a network, and that's so true in recruitment as well. Your network is your worth, as they say. So who you know is really important. So if people are going to click on that link, what is it they're going to get if they purchase this book?
A step-by-step way to take charge of your career. So whether you're looking for a promotion or you're thinking about a total career change, this will help you go through the process of reassessing where you are in your career, really thinking through what it is you want and what it is you have to offer. And that is a combination of all the training that I've had and experience that I've had, similarly with Camilla, and the people that we've worked with as well. What really works, what we've seen. I mean, I've been doing this for over 20 years now, so I really see what works and what doesn't work. and quite a structured process, which people really like. Otherwise, you can bounce around all over the place saying, oh, I could do this, could do that, without a structured way of really thinking about, is this going to use my strengths? Is this going to meet some of my values? How will this position me for the long term? So it's a structured step by step way to reassess your career and think about where you want to go next.
So this would be really helpful. I can remember having the conversation with the careers advisor at school at sort of 16, 17, and getting 1 hour. That was it. 1 hour discussion. That's all we got. I was meant to be a journalist. That was it. And it's like, I had no idea. Left school, no idea what I was going to be or what I was going to do.
I think so many people are like that. Very, very few people know what they want to do. My best friend wanted to be a doctor from, when I met her at 11 at secondary school.
Yeah,
but
a lot then, isn't it? They've got that path. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Her second objective was to still be studying at 30, which she did manage because she did so many specialisms. So she didn't actually get to work until she was about 31. But yeah, when you've got that clear view, then the path is written for you. It's very easy. But a lot of the time, and certainly people joining recruitment, we do a series called My Life in Recruitment, and all bar one so far have fallen into it. And we'd love recruitment to be a career choice.
Yeah.
Do you get to sell the recruitment industry at all in the book?
Not really. I mean, it was part of my path, and I fell into it because I think there are so many different parts of recruitment and different types of companies and different roles within recruitment, and everybody's not. Most people aren't suited to all of those roles, and there are certain roles that will suit you better. So I'm better as an account manager, as a deliverer. I love building relationships with clients. A lot of the clients that I have in Career Farm, which is a career coaching company, I've had for years. These are universities and business schools, and I enjoy developing those relationships and meeting their needs. But kind of full on kind of cold calling and using a lot of technology these days to win new clients, it's not really my bag. I can do it, but I don't love doing it. So I think I think there's lots of opportunity, but it's quite hard also to find out what it's really like to do the different roles within recruitment.
Yeah, you're right. It's a myriad. So, and a lot of the time you can create your own as well. So
yes, that's true.
You're in and you're successful, you can go to your line manager and say, look, I see an opportunity here, or this market, or I think if we worked on this more, it would make a difference to the business. And yeah, you can generate your own opportunities there. But we just don't have that knowledge. We don't know what we don't know, which is why we need the book in the first place. To work out what's the plan, where are we going, what's important to us, because we just fall into it and sometimes we just let life happen. And actually, if we had some thought and a plan beforehand, who knows what we could do.
But you can analyze what you've done. I mean, I learned a lot from recruitment and the different roles that I had. I was in-house for PwC. I worked for a more of an agency, more contingency, and I also worked for a headhunter, so all retained. And each of those roles, I was able to look at that and see the parts that I was using my strengths or met my values or didn't meet my values, or so I could really analyze that. So actually having some experience helps you understand yourself more. It's very difficult, I think, when you're at school. You don't know yourself that well. So this is more really for people who have some experience to draw on, because you're reflecting on what's worked and what hasn't worked in the past.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, if you are at that point in your life and you're thinking, I really don't know, or what's next for me? What's the next challenge? Click on the link, go get the book, work through the exercises. Who knows where you're going to end up, but do let us know as well and give us some feedback. That would be wonderful. Jane, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I've been Angela Cripps, the MD of the Recruiting Gym. We're back tomorrow morning with Becky Holmes with her book, Keanu Reeves is Not in Love with You. Love this one. Hilarious. Okay.
Thank you, Angela.
We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you for having me on. Bye-bye.